We're going to get started with a guy who's joining us from Riverside, California. His interest started when his brother and him wrote a song called "A Thousand Stars in the Sky," and someone got access to it because he recorded it on a Santa Monica pier at a recording booth. And actually, it was when his father used to sing the Four Boys to Sleep. He had a beautiful tenor voice. He was married for 6 years, and it unfortunately ended with his wife's suicide, but it propelled him into a music career. He got a job at a place called the Great American Food and Beverage Company, where he worked as a singing waiter. He loved the place. He left in 1979 and went in search of himself. And he found that he couldn't separate himself and the entertainer, the musician in him. He realized that they were one and the same. He went to Marysville, California after that, started to learn about gold mining, and he started singing for campers at a place called Fiddle Creek Campground. And he played at a bar called the St. Charles Place. This lasted for about 5 years, and he got married to his second wife, who became pregnant against what the doctors had told her because God willed it. He had a little girl after 18 months. He went to work as a carpenter. He hurt his back and moved to Reno, Nevada to go to school as a slot tech mechanic. He got a job as a DJ and a skate guard, and that lasted for 6 months. He moved back to Southern California, started surfing again. He would play for his friends at County Line, Neptune's Net. In September of 1993, he got cancer, was treated. Treatment was successful. He was back surfing in 6 months, and him and his current wife both read the Bible cover to cover 4 years ago, started going to Harvest at the Seventh-day service with Pastor Steve Wilburn, then left to his own church in West Los Angeles. They were searching for a new church. That's when his sister Barb Davis recommended the Vision Plus Church, where his niece was playing music one Sunday. He played one of his original songs and then was introduced to Dan Shemanek and became part of the worship team. So he's part of the worship team. He fed the homeless with Big Jim and Wayne, and he sang them tunes of pop, folk, rock, and gospel. Quite the story, quite the testimony. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. He also played fun fact, he was one of the artists that played where Red worked as a booker for a number of years in Southern California. So Red's known this guy for a while. Please welcome for the first time to the Red's Room stage here online, Jimmy Lee Davis. Jimmy, good evening. How are you? Welcome to Red's Room.
Thanks for your support. Thanks for all you do. God bless you for everything. God's blessed me with a number of songs. There are too many to I could put them on the album. I just haven't done it yet. But I have some that you might like the lyrics to. So
Amen.
This one is called "Father Forgive Them."
Let's do it. First song up tonight, Jimmy Lee Davis, right here on the Saturday Night Edition of Red's Room.
Now the Romans gave him the lashes and spit on him, and the crown of thorns pushed down on his head, pushed beyond endurance. The nails the spine through his ribs, blood on the cross. They cleared his clothes, and the lance that pierced his flesh, and the lance that pierced his flesh, and he said, "Father, forgive them. They know not what they do." Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Father, forgive them. salvation one day, and find salvation one day. I am without blemish. He took all of our sins. God sacrificed His Son so we can live again. So we can live again. Father, let me forgive the sins against me. Jesus, I hear your selfless word, and I know forgiveness is the key. I know forgiveness is the key. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Father, forgive them. Starting out this edition of Red's Room. Great start tonight. Diwanega George watching us from Guyana, South America, city of Georgetown. Yes, indeed. Welcome into the program. Thanks for joining us. Denise Lewis, good evening. Thank you for being here. Dorn Reppert, thank you. Thankful for the glorious grace. Nice to see you tonight. Ellis Davis, welcome to the program. Ellis Davis is Bravo. Denise Lewis is Amazing Song. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Saturday night edition of Red's Room. You said you realized quite some time ago that you can't separate the entertainer from you. They're one in the same. What is your favorite part about either songwriting or just getting up and performing wherever the Lord leads you? What's your favorite part of it?
I don't know. I think that it was one thing that my first wife had told me. She said when you get up on stage, if you're doing anything, it's like when you are experiencing butterflies, or you're just too nervous to go on stage or whatever. She says, face your fears. Face your fears was what I remember most about her. She died back then, but she said, face your fears. And anytime that I get up on stage or I go on stage, I face my fears, because a lot of times there are butterflies and sometimes there's not. But after doing it for a while, you learn to deal with them. I mean, I worked at a place that the place that you talked about, the Great American Food and Beverage Company. Also, every person in the employ of that company were musicians. They were all musicians. There was Katie Seagal, Danny Elfman, Rick Elfman, a bunch of people that worked in the kitchen. They were all musicians, every one of them, and so they had to audition to get a job there. So it lasted me for about 7 years, and I really loved the place, and really taught myself how to play.
Boy, there are quite some names you mentioned there. My goodness, quite a who's who list that have gone through that place. Let me tell you, that's crazy.
Oh, it's I mean, to be able to sing to people who were they were stars, you really get you shook up. I sang to Bob Dylan. It's a lot of it's
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. And I love you had to say about facing your fears. And I think I was told one time, somebody said, I was listening to an interview one time, they said, if you get butterflies, if you get that little adrenaline rush a couple minutes before showtime, that some people say it's actually a good thing for a musician because that means they love what they do, they're passionate about what they do, and they're getting amped up for what they do. Somebody even said one time that if you stop getting butterflies, if you stop getting a little amped up for decent sized moments when you get out there, um, one musician I remember was like, well, then maybe you're losing the drive of doing what you do because you should be able to get excited and just love what you do. So I think it's a good thing that you have a little bit of I know when I don't really get nerves anymore, as I can pretty much do this in my sleep, but I know that I get excited and amped up every time I do this because, as they say, when you love what you do, it never feels like work. It usually feels, for the most part, effortless when you love what you do. And so I can tell you love being a musician, you love getting out there just performing and doing a number of great work that you have, and such a great story and a great testimony as well. What's your next song you got for us there, Jimmy?
One of the Chosen. It was one of the first songs I wrote, and I think Becky likes this song. Uh, um, and it after I had a stroke, and afterwards I couldn't do anything, but finally I was able to play guitar and sing and wrote this song. I just want to be one of the chosen to sing holy, holy, holy when Jesus comes in his glory. King of kings, Lord of lords, Lord of lords, King of kings, Lord of lords, Lord of lords. When Revelation spoke to St. John, and he comes a-riding on a cloud, every knee will bow. His majesty brighter than the sun, brighter than the sun, brighter than the sun.
Jimmy Davis, right here on the Saturday afternoon edition of Red's Room. We were just talking about creative energy a little bit ago. Ellis Davis says butterflies, they create creative energy. Yes, indeed. Robin Holdhouse, good evening. Mom of Elizabeth, who is on here just about every show between both of our platforms. She's on here. Good evening, Robin. Such an amazing and powerful song. Says Denise. Brian Irwin checking in. He says, I don't know how you get those chords to sound that way, but it's awesome. How do you create the sound that you do? Can you shed any insight for Brian there?
The insight is I was once upon a time, I took a trip from Southern California to San Francisco, and we stayed at a place, Portobello or something like that, and a little town, and I heard birds singing from the window, and I tried to mimic the sound. And so the sound of these chords were the sounds that I thought the birds made. So, I had that along for, oh God, it was years and years and years before I finally wrote the song. It was a long time. So yeah,
that's pretty cool. Mimicking the sounds of the birds. No wonder why it sounds just amazing as it does. Saturday afternoon edition of Red's Room. Now, of course, since you are her uncle, did Rebecca learn any musical tricks and tips from you growing up there?
She came into the Great American a few times, and when she did, I think she's like, look at this guy, he's big, he's a big entertainer, and stuff like that. And so that's probably, I don't know, I think that's probably her mindset. I have no idea, but she is, I am so proud of her for going off, and she's created albums and done well in the Christian community as well. Singing for churches and everything. She's done a wonderful job, and I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud. And she was the one that introduced me to going to Angel City to begin with. And I said, oh yeah, hey, might be a good idea to do that. Because I'm writing gospel songs, and so that's and I had enough songs written that I could go there and perform 45 minutes, and so that was
now this talented musical family is here with us on Red's Room. Brian loves that. He says beautiful, natured, inspired. Thank you for sharing that insight. And of course, we just passed, as we are talking right now, the Red's Room Entertainment Facebook group, which you can invite your members, your friends to like. 2,700 plus members strong. Yes, indeed. Thank you all for your support of Red's Room, and of course what I do here at Christian Media Spotlight. I'm sure on behalf of both of us, we're very grateful to have all of your support here, keeping and growing these ministries strong, giving places and platforms for great artists like all of the ones we have assembled here today to play and to share their gifts for all of you tonight, just as we are doing for the 191st time here on Red's Room. What's the next tune you got for us there, Jimmy?
I've got God Knows All.
Yes, he does.
One that I sent to Nashville one time. It came back with good reviews. Please don't find fault with me. I'm not perfect, I can't be. It's easy to criticize. I'm not trying to be right. God knows I have my tragedies, they follow me around. Sometimes they comfort me, sometimes they knock me down. I try to walk in faith, sometimes my knees are weak, because the things I'm facing aren't really what I see. I guess he has a plan, he's given me the choice. I pray for the things I think I need. Can he hear my voice? God knows. Only God knows it all. Come what may, rise and fall. God knows it all. God knows. God knows. Have I done something wrong? Wet standing in the rain? Or will he answer in his time? Am I wandering in vain? The sunrise is spreading warmth, the morning dew melts away. Great clouds appearing overhead, it could rain sometime today. God knows, God knows. The clear voice of the wind, blowing every word I send, through his sun bright and hot, amplified picture and thought. Winter snows, the moon glows, sunshine, wind blows, family lines, puppy whines, all connected in the vines. God knows, God knows, God knows. Only God knows it all. Come what may, rise and fall. God knows it all. God knows. God knows. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We know. We know.
And Denise Lewis says, wow, spectacular. What a great voice. Ellis Davis says, power. Yes, indeed. Nice to have everyone here on Red Zone tonight on this Saturday night. What's coming up next for you? You just going to keep doing some songwriting, some performing where things allow? What's up next for you musically?
Well, musically, I'm just hanging out. I don't know what I'm gonna do with. I have a number of songs. Like I said, they're probably 2 albums worth of songs, all gospel, and I've written over the years since 1972 a number of songs, and so. Yeah.
50 years doing music, brother. That is amazing. Thank you for your years of musical talent and service around this great country and many places that you have been. Did you have one last one for us, or is that about wrap it up tonight there for you?
I can do another one if you want.
Sure, if you want one more.
Okay. We can uh let's see here.
And he, of course, is uncle to Rebecca. Their band is going to perform about 3 songs for us coming up next here in just a few minutes. Talia Daniels, Rhiannon, Liz Collins, all still to come on Red's Room tonight. One more right now from Jimmy Davis, wrapping things up in the first part of Red's Room on the Saturday night.
This is a song I used to sing at a church, local church, and it was the song that they gave to the church because it was so full of love. Real love is overpowering. The greatest gift of all. You give a love so freely. I'm grateful for your call. Lord, you know I'm grateful. You've forgiven all my sins. Now with the blood of Jesus shed, I know where love begins. I know where love begins. Love begins here. Love begins here. One more time. Love begins here. On all the roads I travel, I feel your presence near. It seems I always know your meaning. I don't even have to hear. Your word is spoken with love, and I try to do my part. Your spirit is on my shoulder, and your son is in my heart, and your son is in my heart, and your son is in my heart. Oh Lord, you know I'm grateful. You've forgiven all my sins. Now with the blood of Jesus shed, I know where love begins. I know where love begins. I know where love begins. Love begins here. Love begins here. With all you beautiful people. Love begins here. Thank you.
Indeed. Jimmy Davis right here. on the Saturday edition of Red's Room. Jimmy, is there somewhere we can follow you to keep up with your musical journey, whatever's next? Would it be Facebook, YouTube, web page, anywhere we can follow you to continue your journey?
I have songs on SoundCloud, full length. Most of my songs are on SoundCloud, and not I stopped the Reverberation. I cut them off because they were too too many problems. So um, I have another N1M Music that I am subscribed to as well, and those two I think are my favorite ones. You know, I've posted songs and they've gone, you know, close to number one. You know, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I posted on Facebook a couple times.
There you go, Joe. Go check out his music on SoundCloud. And Jimmy, we thank you for your years of dedication and service to your gift and to your craft. And we thank you for taking the time, blessing us with your music here, starting off this Saturday edition of Red's Room. Great to have you here. Welcome to the Red's Room online family. Thanks for being here with us tonight, Jimmy.
I'm grateful to be here.